Today's youth are going places. They're going to new destinations in their own countries and abroad. You decide if they have the English skills to succeed at your program or institution. One organization has the English assessments to help you know. ETS, maker of the TOEFL family of assessments. Better job opportunities, a broader worldview, a richer education. These lifelong benefits have inspired more students to study abroad than ever before, and millions more plan to follow them. With so many candidates to choose from, the TOEFL test is proven valid, reliable, and fair for assessing the English skills your students need for success. More institutions worldwide trust the TOEFL test for identifying those with the best potential. The TOEFL ITP test is one of the world's leading on-site academic testing programs. Created to measure core English skills, the TOEFL ITP test uses academic content similar to what is used in actual classroom tasks, making the TOEFL ITP test an essential tool for a variety of uses and giving teachers true insight into each student's strengths and weaknesses. With the TOEFL ITP test, teachers can tailor their teaching, strengthen their students' English skills, and raise the profile of your institution, all by using the global standard in English language assessment.
So, the TOEIC and TOEFL tests are the most popular English language assessments in the world. Roughly 8 million tests are delivered every year. You compare that to the next largest program, which only does roughly 1.5 million. So this testing program is 4 times larger than anything else. And the tests are really the gold standard for English proficiency. Used by Harvard, used by Oxford, used by the Australian government, used by the United Nations, used by 14,000 corporations, 7 out of the top 10 largest corporations in the world. So the largest institutions use these assessments as the gold standard for English proficiency. What makes the achievement in UST so interesting is that people have been taking these assessments. Normally 20-year-olds, 25-year-olds, 30-year-olds, and going overseas, going to international scholarship programs. The best of the best have taken the test. Scholars selected nationwide have taken the tests. And, it's interesting that the first perfect score actually comes from a 15-year-old, right? So you have the best of the best taking the test. But only after 5-6 years did we see the first perfect score, and it came from a 15-year-old in high school. So that is a tremendous achievement for UST.
Every year since 2013, the University of Santo Tomas Junior High School have been using the TOEFL Junior and TOEFL ITP tests to ensure that students are at par with recommended English scores of the Common Core curriculum standards. The TOEFL Test of English as a Foreign Language is the most widely respected academic English language test in the world, recognized by more than 8,500 colleges, universities, and agencies in more than 130 countries. Each student who takes the TOEFL test receives 3 globally recognized measurements: a TOEFL score, a Lexile score, and a CEFR reference. These 3 scores allow learners and academians to monitor individual progress and performance, and compare against global benchmarks and standardized results. This school year, 2016 to 2017, UST Junior High School's culture of excellence shines even brighter as student Reina Sullivan achieved a perfect score of 677 in the TOEFL ITP test, earning her a C1 CEFR level equivalent, the highest possible score range achieved when taking the TOEFL. Reina Sullivan is the first student to attain a perfect score in the Philippines, proving once again the University of Santo Tomas Junior High School's commitment to produce holistically developed and globally competitive graduates.
takes its pride, having existed for more than 400 years, takes its pride from its traditional methods of teaching, but just the same, they have remained responsive and dynamic to the needs of the times. I would like to say that UST has always been adept in terms of teaching methods, in terms of upgrade of facilities, so as to be at par with the other universities, not only in the Philippines but also abroad. So needless to say, our legacy of quality education has something to do with its quality teachers, with its quality facilities, and of course its ever dynamic teaching methods. Because UST is a premium university that has existed for more than 4 decades, I would have to say that the struggles that it has been through would be more or less about the different shifts, educational changes. In all this, in all these changes, UST and of course UST Junior High School for that matter would have to keep abreast with the latest trends, with the latest issues. We have to keep up with curricular changes, with curriculum delivery changes as well. So thanks of course to the administration, because we've been equipped sufficiently, because every time there's a change, we're always trained and we're given adequate support, in terms of faculty development programs and projects. Yeah. In UST Junior High School, of course, we recognize English as the medium of instruction of most of our subjects or learning areas. This is to say that we recognize English as that language that could equip our students to be globally competitive in the field of information and in the field of communication. We get to prepare them for the world out there, because let's face it, it still is English that we use in communicating, in transacting, in whatever fields or in whatever disciplines. Having them equipped with basic English skills in the 4 language skills of reading, writing, listening, speaking, and viewing, we provide our students the opportunities for self-expression, for global competitiveness, and for conversational fluency. And of course, when you're good in English, you have the edge. Okay, you have the edge not only in academics, where most learning areas are actually taught in English. They also have the edge in getting jobs, in transacting, I guess. All our students from grade 7 to grade 10 were required to take the tests. It was introduced to us, of course, by Hopkins, and we took the opportunity, of course. So it was a different experience for our students, because it was not the usual standardized test that they take, paper and pen. In this case, they had, written, and then they had some oral or listening test as well. Well, apart from the students, also the teachers took it. I think we took the TOEIC. Teachers and staff, I think, also took them. It was a pleasure, and at the same time, it was a sign of relief for me to find out that as an English teacher, I was at par with the standards of the world in terms of English language proficiency in both written and listening skills.
it was difficult in the sense that most of the questions were tricky because the choices were tricky also, and I think what I experienced the most difficult part was the listening ability, because I was seated back at the classroom and I had to intently listen, because if you fail to listen to that question, you fail to get the opportunity to answer correctly the test item. So when our school secretary informed me, "You got the perfect score, you're the first Filipino perfect scorer for TOEFL ITP," I was in shock, and I did not know how to react, because I did not really realize the effect that has on me, and it was a big thing for the entire school. For me, it was one of the most life-changing moments I've ever had, because I got to appreciate the smaller things. So honestly, I did not initially know what this TOEFL has as an impact to me, but as I have researched, TOEFL is not a requirement, but some of the companies abroad really delve into your credentials, and when they see that you are a passer of a TOEFL exam, I think it's a good qualification if ever you plan to take up your studies abroad or you plan to work abroad. TOEFL would really be a good investment. I see it as an investment because besides an assessment tool with my English proficiency, it's what would make me at par with the international companies and the people behind those institutions that are globally known, globally acclaimed. Yes, I highly encourage my fellow Tomasians to try and experience and take up TOEFL. TOEFL would offer maximizing the capabilities of each student or professional who would take the exam, because I believe that taking the TOEFL, being a TOEFL passer or a TOEFL taker, would really open doors for you to connect with global companies if ever you'd like to venture into international studies abroad or international career. I advise future TOEFL exam takers to take them seriously and don't take them for granted, because they really have to see its essence afterwards, because TOEFL is not just a simple thing, it's something that would lead you to bigger things. And I thank Hopkins for bringing TOEFL to us, to UST Junior High School students, as early as grade 8 students, 13-year-olds, taking exams for English, getting to know their potentials in the English language is something big, and we appreciate the added boost to our education in that aspect.
When my daughter told me that it was a perfect score, and that was the time I was really overwhelmed. And when she told me that it was quite difficult compared to the previous one given when she was in grade 8, so I believed her. But again, I could not imagine that there could be somebody who could perfect this TOEFL ITP. Well, having an idea that TOEFL is one of the English proficiency examinations that are necessary for one to go to further education outside of the country, then I think this is very important for a person. Not only my daughter being a student who will be going into further studies, I think that a proficiency in the English language will be very important. But I think that TOEFL is necessary because I realize up to now that English is still the important, the most exact language that everybody needs, especially doctors. So I think that TOEFL is important. This is for global competition and even for self-aggrandizement. It is still very important for us to be proficient in the English language. This is what I could say as the necessary first. Because I know as a Filipino that our language should be the first into consideration, but English being the second in terms of education and professional career later on should be ranking first. I will recommend the TOEFL examination very highly, especially nowadays. As educators, we are in a battle. You know, the youth now, because they are the generation so much exposed into a lot of changes, especially technology. The TOEFL is also very important because nowadays, in many institutions of learning, they have accepted the bilingual way of education, and I think that is a detriment. Even though we allow bilingual in the way we conduct teaching and in the way we allow students to answer our questions, I still would want to believe that they should still know how to talk in straight English because this is the one universally accepted. The bilingual system is highly acceptable, but still we have to cater to the fact that English is the universal medium, therefore we need some basic proficiency in it. And I'm happy that UST adopted the TOEFL for their students and the academicians themselves. My first question then was, will it be also given to the teachers? Because sometimes we encounter teachers who are not too proficient also in the English language. So for now, I think the regular conduct of the TOEFL ITP is a basic necessity if we want to educate our youth in the best manner.